we seem to have forgotten about something, did we not? Yes, this thing right here, the EFV-8 Mars. I kinda just forgot about it, to be honest, and when people mentioned it, it did not sound great, because they would say things like, well, it's kind of like the Stag, which is akin to the doctor telling you, well, it's kind of like having cancer. It's a semi-automatic secondary pistol that requires master rank 14, does primarily puncture damage with a little bit of impact on the side, and it is a secondary fire which charges up a corrosive grenade that has a 3-meter explosion. It sports a fairly solid 27% crit chance with a slightly above average 2.1 times crit multiplier and a status chance that's at 17% on the primary fire and 33% on the secondary fire. It's also relatively easy to get because you can just buy it from the Hex Syndicate. So let's finally give it a shot, shall we? Well, it does look pretty cool, but I can't remember what it does anymore, so let's do a little test. Oh god, bloody, that's recoil, alright. Sheesh, that is violent. Okay, damage is pretty mediocre as well. What about the oh, that's so slow. Oh no, that's not filling me with a lot of confidence. Yeah. Okay, let's figure something out. Deadhead would be really nice for the recoil reduction. Unfortunately, I don't think the weapon is accurate enough for it to actually work. Empowered is kind of like a safe bet, but we could go with Enervate as well. I think Empowered's gonna help with the somewhat low base damage. Unfortunately, that charge mode probably... What? What do you mean? It's... I don't understand the rules of this mod anymore. Like on other weapons, when you have a charge mode, it disables Cannonade, but here, you know, I give up. I give up. Cannonade it is. Yeah, Creeping Bullseye. We can take full advantage of it without losing the fire rate, which is nice. 45? That's not a lot. I want to try Vital and Heat because that's a pretty nice combo with the corrosion on the grenade. There we go. For now, we just top it off with Diffusion. Lovely. Okay, so it is doing damage, which is good. It is somewhat slow, but it is doing damage. That's the important thing. I want to try Cucumber. We need to do a little switcheroo for a brief moment. You go in. Something like this, I guess. Okay, okay. That's definitely doing stuff. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. That recoil, though, that is violent. We need to do something about that. Okay, goodbye galvanized shot. Hello steady hands. Top it off with heat. Now we're talking. This is actually, like, usable. This doesn't feel horrendous anymore. Let's give that grenade another shot. So slow. I actually wonder if we should run Deadhead, because it doesn't seem to be terribly inaccurate. I think it was mostly just the recoil. 'Tis time for the boy. Alrighty, that's pretty good. I don't mind this. This isn't too bad. Let's see what it feels like when we completely eliminate the recoil with Deadhead. Feels a bit anemic, which is to be expected, but it seems very accurate, so it was mostly just the recoil. I wonder if we should run crosshairs, actually. Well, let's try it out. We're going for headshots already, so might as well get a bunch of extra crit. Oh, damn, yeah, the ramp-up's pretty good, thanks to Cannonade. That's always nice. It's a pretty basic pistol, but it gets the job done. I know this is gonna sound stupid, right, but bear with me a moment. If you have some sort of a combo, or something, right? Some unique mechanic, unique secondary fire. You need to make it so that using it is considerably better than just not using it, right? You would think that's pretty obvious, but it quite clearly isn't, because I can't think of a bloody reason why I would actually use the secondary grenade. These things do not need a drawback, like the long charge time on this. Like, all you achieve by giving it a drawback is that I will never use it. I mean, so far so good. I would appreciate a slightly faster reload, but other than that, it's a pretty solid pistol. Okay, that's like a C, maybe a D. Honestly, out of all the weapons that came out with this update, I think I like this one the least. Out of the ones that I've tried so far anyway. It doesn't excite me very much, it just kind of exists. I'm kind of struggling to keep up Crosshair, so I think we're gonna go back to Bullseye. Let's also, since we're maxed out, slap on a V right here so we can run Prime Target Cracker instead. Much better. I do like the idea of Magnetic Might here, so let's derank Steady Hands by 1. This is gonna give us a nice bump in damage. I don't want to come off as overly negative, because it's not necessarily the weapon's fault. It's a fine weapon, you can quite clearly see that it's a capable instrument. I'm just not feeling it. Yeah, it's a solid gun, I wish there was something more to the grenade. It's just like a grenade that does relatively weak damage. It has forced corrosive, which is nice, but that's about it. Okay, let's shimmy this around a little bit, because originally I didn't want to run corrosive because, well, the grenade has corrosive, but since we're not using the grenade, I would actually like to have corrosive on this. Yeah, corrosive cold magnetic is definitely the way to go here. Unless you insist on using the grenade, then you can drop corrosive, but it's just a nice combo, you know, you have corrosive for armor, magnetic for the shields, and then you have puncture and cold for the crit. That's really nice. Sadly, even after all of that, I'm still not feeling it. It's just meh. Yeah, I think that's my final verdict. It exists. So, here's the final build for the EFV-8 Mars. We have galvanized diffusion for multi-shot, semi-pistol cannonade for a ton of damage, creeping bullseye for crit chance, prime target cracker for crit damage, and then we have a bunch of elements. We have magnetic might for magnetic damage and crit damage, frostbite for cold and status chance, as well as pistol pestilence and jolt for corrosive and status chance. We're also running a combination of steady hands and secondary deadhead to dampen the recoil, because the base recoil on this is quite aggressive. I would highly recommend you run at least one of these. You don't necessarily have to run both, because it does make the weapon feel significantly more anemic, but at least one of them I would say is necessary. And finally, as with any corrosive setup, having 2 Emerald Archon shards on your frame is really good because it allows you to strip the enemy armor with corrosion alone. I am not a big fan of this gun, I just don't like it very much. It is a perfectly fine instrument, it does the job, it will shoot the things and the things will die, but it's just not very exciting. Now, to be fair, I did deliberately make the weapon feel more anemic by eliminating the recoil, but then again, I would rather have that than the recoil. My biggest complaint here is that the 2 fire modes don't really work very well together. Let me explain. The secondary grenade has a rather long charge up time, so you ideally want to use a fire rate mod to speed that up. This prevents you from using cannonade, so we replace cannonade with Hornet Strike and run a fire rate mod. This depletes our ammo considerably faster, especially with the primary fire, so we're constantly out of ammo and reloading with a rather long reload time. So we need to run a reload mod to stay sane. Or we don't do any of that and just use the primary fire. I don't know. Honestly, unless you really like the look of this gun or you think you would have fun with it, I think this one is safe to skip. It's decent enough, you can absolutely do Steel Path with it, so if you want it, go for it. Don't let me tell you what to do. I think there are much better weapons to be had from the new update. And as always guys, I thank you very much for watching and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Then I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, it means a lot to me. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.